My best friend accused me of abandoning her and destroying our friendship because I was letting my insecurities get in the way of her happiness, all because I didn't want to undergo an extreme makeover for her wedding. I, 30 female, have been inseparable from my best friend, Lily, 30 female, since we were kids. Coming from a small town with little to offer, we promised each other we'd be there through thick and thin. Our backgrounds are humble, and we've both faced our share of struggles, supporting each other no matter what. Lily met Evan during college, a charming guy from a well-off family. When he proposed last year, it was like a fairy tale unfolding, especially with Evan's family offering to spare no expense for their dream wedding. Naturally, I was thrilled when Lily asked me to be her maid of honor. I envisioned dress shopping and bachelorette planning, all the fun stuff. However, about 3 weeks ago, Lily requested a sit-down that felt more like an intervention. She presented me with a maid of honor makeover plan, which took me by complete surprise. It wasn't about dresses or spa treatments. It was a detailed regime for me to change my appearance drastically before the wedding. The plan was shocking. Lily wanted me to dye my vibrant red hair to a more understated shade to avoid clashing with the wedding palette, get a spray tan to blend in better with the other bridesmaids, and she hinted heavily at me losing at least 20 pounds to fit perfectly into the designer dress she had picked out. I've admittedly gained weight since college, something I'm self-conscious about, especially next to Lily, who's remained as fit and active as ever. But this felt like a slap in the face. I tried to laugh it off, hoping it was a bad joke, but Lily was serious. She claimed it was all in the spirit of having the perfect wedding photos, heavily influenced by the expectations of Evan's family. I felt betrayed. Our friendship had survived so much, yet here we were, divided over something so superficial. I told her it was unreasonable and hurtful. She retorted that I was being selfish, letting my insecurities get in the way of her happiness. That hurt. The argument escalated quickly, with words thrown that we could never take back. In a moment of hurt and anger, I told her if my appearance was more important than our friendship, perhaps she should find another maid of honor. Lily accused me of abandoning her and destroying our friendship over something so trivial. We haven't spoken since that day. The wedding is fast approaching, and the fallout has been swift and divisive among our circle of friends. Many of them, caught up in the excitement of the event and possibly influenced by Lily's side of the story, have been calling and texting me, suggesting I'm overreacting. They say I should just apologize and make up with Lily, implying that my refusal to comply with her wishes is a sign of not valuing our lifelong friendship. Social media hasn't helped, with subtle posts from some of the bridal party hinting at my absence and the disruption it's caused. It feels like I'm being painted as the villain in a situation where all I wanted was to maintain my dignity and self-respect. The pressure from these mutual friends is immense, making me second-guess my decision. Was standing up for myself worth the potential loss of a friendship I've cherished for over 2 decades? Or have I indeed overreacted, allowing pride to cloud my judgment and harm a relationship that's meant everything to me? This ordeal has left me feeling isolated, questioning the dynamics of our friendship, and wondering if it was ever as unconditional as I believed it to be. Am I the jerk for walking away from my best friend's wedding over her demands for my appearance change, even when everyone else seems to think I should just apologize and move on? Update. I wanted to give you all an update on what's been happening since the fallout with Lily. Firstly, thank you so much for your support and understanding during this tough time. It means the world to me. After everything went down, I felt like I needed to reach out to some of our mutual friends to explain my side of the story. Some of them totally got where I was coming from and were really supportive. But you know how it goes, some of them sided with Lily too, which was tough to hear. It's been about a month since the wedding, and I still haven't talked to Lily. We're still friends on social media, so I see her updates every now and then, which is a bit weird. But I've come to terms with the fact that maybe our friendship wasn't as solid as I thought. Skipping the wedding wasn't an easy decision, but I felt like I had to stick to my G. It's been rough dealing with the fallout, but I'm starting to realize that real friendships are about more than just going along with whatever someone else wants. Thanks again for all your support. It's been a tough journey, but I'm getting there, one step at a time. My sister refused to let her mother-in-law see her newborn before our mom did, and she passed away without seeing her grandchild. I laughed and told my sister that she shouldn't overvalue herself, and that she should prepare for the worst after she left to teach her husband a lesson. I, 21 female, have an older sister, Eve, 29 female, who had her first child. Lori 1F, and while this should be a time of joy and excitement, there's actually a lot of tension and brewing resentment between her, our mom, and her husband, Jack 29 male. Despite it being unplanned, Eve's pregnancy was wanted and Jack was an involved partner. He went to most of Eve's appointments, took the birthing classes, and supported Eve's decision to just have our mom in the room while he wanted outside when she gave birth. The plan was for our mom to be by Eve's side in the room and to help stay for a week after Lori was born. Everyone was cool with this, but unfortunately our aunt got into some drama with her husband in another state, and our mom rushed over to be at her sister's side. Eve was already in her third trimester, so Jack didn't like the idea of our mom going and voiced it. Our mom tore Jack a new one, and Eve even got on his case about it, so he apologized. However, Eve ended up going into labor and Jack ultimately was the one in the room while our mom was away. When she called, our mom expressed being sad over not being there for the birth of her first grandchild, and she and Eve decided that no one else in the family would see Lori until she got back. Without discussing it with Jack, he was understandably not happy as his mom lived about 45 minutes away and was looking forward to meeting Lori too, as she was the first grandchild on both sides. Eve pulled the "I just gave birth" card and Jack reluctantly allowed it. On the day that our mom was supposed to come back, she missed her flight and couldn't get a new one until the following morning. Our mom could have just rented a car, but she didn't want to spend the money since the airline wouldn't refund the money. Jack was brought up allowing his mom to come again, but Eve refused, citing that he already agreed. Unfortunately, Jack's mom was in a car accident and passed before ever getting to meet Lori since Eve wouldn't even allow a video chat. Jack was distraught. He moved to the guest bedroom, went to the funeral alone, and refuses to engage with Eve at all. Jack's side of the family keeps calling and messaging Eve to tell her what a selfish and awful person she is, and Jack refuses to defend. Eventually, Eve got sick of it and packed up and left to our mom's house to teach Jack a lesson, but he hasn't texted or called. Our mom thinks that he just needs some space and that he'll call soon, but I just laughed at that. Didn't mean to though. My mom and Eve asked me why I laughed, and I tried to brush it off or even leave, but they couldn't let me and pressed for answer. Eventually, I told her that while the accident wasn't her fault, she did keep Lori away from Jack's mom meeting her for a week, and now she never will. There's no way Jack is going to ever love you enough to forgive that, and that you should prepare for the worst. Eve started to bawl her eyes out while Mom berated me, so I left. Edit. Just to clarify, because I keep seeing this, when the accident first happened, Eve has apologized 3 separate times. Jack has admitted to this, and Eve intended to go to the funeral with him, but he drove off without her. Jack does interact with Lori. It's Eve that he's icing out, and my niece is the only thing he's willing to talk to Eve about. Jack had been living in the guest room for 5 months before Eve left. She's offered to go to couples counseling, but Jack has refused. Update. Hey, it's been a couple of weeks, and due to people still occasionally asking, I thought I'd give people some quick updates to the situation. Here are the basic bullet points. My sister has now been officially diagnosed with postpartum depression, and that is the trump card Hail Mary of the situation. My sister and her husband are living together again and in couples therapy. My sister is in individual counseling. My niece has now been officially introduced to a few members of her paternal side, and they all love her. Jack's family have ceased their negative comments about my sister, but she says that they're still pretty formal and distant towards her. I honestly don't know if she'll ever be in their good graces again, and will only put up with her for my brother-in-law and niece's sake. My niece's name first and middle is going to be legally changed to whatever Jack wants. For the next 5 years, brother-in-law's side of the family is getting priority when it comes to any and all holidays. My mom will be on a strict info diet when it comes to the baby. No pictures unless Jack approves. This is all I know for right now, and my mom is not happy with any of this and is calling Jack a controlling jerk, but my sister is holding firm in an effort to save her marriage. She claims that brother-in-law and her are making progress in counseling, and I hope for her sake that it's true. It's gonna suck not being able to see my niece as much as I wanted for the next possible few years, but compared to never being able to see her at all like Jack's mom, it is what it is. I know a lot of you may not be happy with this update, but it is what it is for now.